You're watching E.T.N. Entertainment-related new, entertainment-related discussion. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, we're going to talk some Star Wars. Yes, I know, not a topic that comes up very often on this channel. But about a month ago, 6 weeks ago, maybe even 2 months ago, I did a video regarding all the content creators out there that were doing Star Wars videos regarding this big confrontation between the fans and Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, all those great things. And, you know, obviously a lot of the fans spoke with their wallets when it came to Solo Star Wars story after The Last Jedi, which a lot of people were very upset about. I mean, obviously there were a lot of people who liked it as well, let's be fair. But there were a good amount of people that did not like that movie. It was a movie that was very front-loaded. So even though you look at the numbers, and the numbers are very good, it was a very front-loaded movie. Basically, it came out, everybody ran to see it, and then it really started to decline from there. So now, and I don't mean to laugh because, you know, I understand there's a lot of Star Wars fans out there right now that are very upset because apparently Kathleen Kennedy has received a 3-year extension. This was obviously brought to light a couple of days ago. And since then, all these channels that I do watch, because I do like their content and I do support and agree with a lot of things they say in regards to the messaging from Lucasfilm and direct messaging from, you know, the creators and the staff there that they've been at war with. Because I do believe that when you're creating these movies and you're part of a production team, then there's a certain level of the customer's always right. You know, that saying still holds. Unfortunately, a lot of businesses don't put that into practice anymore. But at the same time, my argument back then was that while I do agree with these content creators, many of the fans, and when I say the fans, I don't mean them, because they've taken their communication and they've been very respectful about it. They've been very direct and very forthcoming, but they have been respectful even while criticizing Lucasfilm and the staff. But of course, there are a lot of toxic Star Wars fans out there that over the years have done just some horrible things in terms of criticizing the actors and the people that work on the film. And, you know, it's not to say that, you know, everybody's entitled to criticize and everybody is subject to being criticized. But sometimes things can get personal. People can come out and say nasty things. There can be almost an attack of, you know, we see this on both sides. You know what I mean? So in that sense, at that time, that video, I said that, you know, a lot of these fans are kind of reaping what they sow, you know, because now here's an opportunity to have another Star Wars franchise, and all those bad things that they said in the past, and it's kind of coming back to bite them in the ass. And this is almost like a continuation of that. Now, you know, you could see a lot of these content creators, and I've watched all their videos since this news came to be, and they're obviously very disappointed. You know, a lot of them speculated and predicted that Kathleen Kennedy would not be around, but obviously that's not the case anymore. Now, how big her role will be going forward remains to be seen. Sometimes it can just be a decision that's made, but they might scale back the responsibility, or they might put them on a separate project, something that's a little bit smaller scale. But the thing of it is that at the end of the day, you know, people can criticize Kathleen Kennedy all she wants. She obviously has made a very clear where she stands in terms of politics, and I'm sure she has taken the opportunity, well, she has taken the opportunity to kind of use that influence within the movies to the directors. But at the end of the day, I think the directors also deserve, you know, some of the heat, which obviously Rian Johnson got. You know, I think with someone like J.J. Abrams, who's a little bit more highly touted as a director because he's done so much work in the past and has had success doing so, that there's a certain level of things he can probably do, whether the production is going to be influential or not. I think the key here is, you know, Kathleen Kennedy should probably just step back and let these people make their films. I think Rian Johnson probably had his autonomy, but he's obviously has his agenda as well. But the thing of it is that, you know, it's not really as bad. And I'm not talking about her being signed. I think that's a bad idea for them to re-sign her. But still, again, we have to see how it plays out. But what I was going to say was, I don't think it's really as bad as people are making it out to be. You've gotten 4 movies so far, right? So you got 2 for 4. You got Rogue One, and then you got The Force Awakens. Obviously, The Last Jedi was bad, and I have not personally seen Solo. I'm going to watch it probably this week because now it's out, and, you know, I might see if I can check it out. I think it's on discount on Prime for like $4.99 rent, but one way or another, I'll find a way to watch it. I just don't want to spend full price to rent it or buy, and I'm certainly not buying it. So when I find a cheaper way of watching it, then I'm going to check it out. But the thing of it is that, you know, Star Wars, I used to be a huge Star Wars fan. I've pretty much given up on Star Wars, simply because of this debacle. What happened when the last prequel trilogy came out? That was a huge debacle. And I'm not talking about just the quality of the movies. You know, unfortunately, the fan base batter, you know, and I get it. They're passionate. They're you know, but the question is, should you take something so seriously? Because as many of you know, I'm a huge Godzilla fan. I am but I have gone through Godzilla withdrawal without knowing what the future holds, you know, and I have never, you know, attacked any of the actors, stuff like that, and, you know, those kinds of things. And I just, you know, and I said this again, and I'm echoing my last video from a couple of weeks back. You know, there's a certain level of appreciation you should have for the fact that the IP that you love the most is still out there. Not every movie is going to be a hit. You know, a good amount of Star Wars movies have been a hit. You know, I thought The Force Awakens obviously was a huge hit. Rogue One was a huge success. You know, you got the original trilogy, which to this day is a huge success. And obviously the sequel trilogy, not nearly as popular, but even they had their success at the time before people kind of, once they calmed down from all the fever, all the hypeness, they realized that the movies were not that great. But this is unfortunate news. But again, this is just going to keep this thing going. The next Star Wars movie will come out, will determine whether or not she has a big foothold on it. And then we'll see where it goes from there. Star Wars for me at this point, it's just like, nothing's ever going to beat the original trilogy. It doesn't matter how much they rewind it, how much they try to expand all this shit. It's never going to beat that original trilogy. It really isn't, you know? Just like as much as I love some of these newer Godzilla movies, nothing's really going to ever beat the 54 movie, you know? And I have, you know, people tell me, I was a huge fan of the 2014 movie. I thought that Gareth Edwards and doing an American version of Godzilla, I thought they did exceptionally well. But in all honesty, nothing ever beats the original, right? You know, I put Godzilla 2014 third on my list, and the 2 movies ahead of that are Godzilla 84 and Godzilla 54. So, and those are 2 of the much better Toho directed or produced movies. So, you know, I think with Star Wars, the last movie of Star Wars that I saw that I really liked, that I thought was one of the top Star Wars movies, was Rogue One. I really think Rogue One is one of the better Star Wars movies ever made, because it was obviously had a great element to it. There was a little darkness to it, which I thought was really cool. And most importantly, I thought it was a movie that pulled off a great story that we already knew, had a very iconic ending with Darth Vader showing up. And then on top of that, you had a movie that was that successful that didn't rely on a lightsaber battle. And you can't really say that about many other Star Wars movies. I mean, you take The Phantom Menace, for example. That movie was essentially, to some extent, saved by the end fighting scene between Darth Maul, Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I give a lot of kudos to Rogue One for pulling off a great movie without relying on Jedi mind tricks, right? Or a lightsaber battle. And that's my personal opinion. That's just how I feel. But at this point, Star Wars, I mean, this whole thing going on between the fans and the production team and Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy, it's just such a big mess. And this, you know, I feel for these content creators, because on one hand, I know how passionate, I know where they're coming from, because I've been there with Star Wars. I'm still there with Godzilla, but I know that once Godzilla ends, that might be the end for it, you know, at least here, you know, we're likely going to get more Toho movies, but eventually Godzilla is going to come to an end, and there's never a certainty that it'll ever come back. You know, nobody thought Godzilla would come back after the Millennial series, and now he came back stronger, probably than all his prior times, and he's had a good run for the last couple of years with the animation and all that stuff. So, you know, I think Star Wars fans should definitely just kind of appreciate what you had back in the 70s when all that came out into the early 80s. There's so much lore. There's so many things to appreciate in these movies, even if they're not all perfect. Like, I did not like The Last Jedi, but there were some scenes in The Last Jedi I thought were very good. I personally like the opening scene. I like the scene that shot the hyperspeed ship into the other ship. That was great. And those are the things that I think should kind of focus on. If this new team in Lucasfilm is not cutting it for you, then it's like a lot of these guys say, just move on. Talk with your wallet. Maybe the next movie that comes out, don't rush to the theater to see it. Maybe wait till it comes out on DVD, or wait for the first week and see what the reviews, well, maybe not the professional reviews, because some of them are biased, but see what people on YouTube are saying, and leave it at that. I personally have given up on Star Wars. If I do watch the next few movies, I might wait a couple of weeks after it's out, or I might wait till it comes out on DVD, just because I'm already invested in the story at this point. I've already seen The Force Awakens. I've already seen The Last Jedi. So I want to see how they're going to either fix, if they do decide to fix what came at the end of The Last Jedi. But yeah, it's a bad deal. It's a bad deal that they signed her. But at the end of the day, you put all the numbers together, and she did make them a huge profit, or at least she contributed. So even though the last two movies may not have been that great, and even though Solo's numbers were not that great, overall, she did deliver. And I know it's going to hurt for a lot of people to say that, because they're so focused on the whole SJW message that she's been pushing, that they really don't realize that she has made Disney a ton of money in 4 movies overall. And usually that calls for a promotion, so we'll just have to see what happens. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. This is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Click here to watch more content. Or you can click here to become an E.T.N. patron. Don't forget to leave a comment. Also, make sure you like and share this video. If you want to know when the next video is up, click the notification bell next to the subscribe button. And most of all, make sure to click that subscribe button for regular content.